Hi, my name is Fred Schott, and I live in the United States in the San Francisco Bay Area, as you can probably guess from the bridge behind me, which looks just like this photo. Uh, the COVID-19 has really affected my life in many ways, as I think it has just about everybody around the world. For one thing, I have multiple careers. One is I work as a writer and a translator, and I also work as an interpreter. The interpreting market has taken a huge blow because of the pandemic, because it's very difficult to get together with people. But nonetheless, there's been a shift to more and more online interpreting, and I've been able to do some of that, including what they call a remote simultaneous interpreting. And so that has been a really interesting challenge, but also fun in a certain way for me. In terms of writing, actually, the pandemic has, of course, made it difficult in some ways because I am a nonfiction writer and I do a lot of research for my books. But nonetheless, this year I was able to bring out a new book, so I'm very happy about that. And it's called My Heart Sutra. Just came out. Actually, it's available 1 week from now. And for many writers, I think being isolated and actually being sheltering in place and that kind of thing is not such a bad thing because it gives you time to think about things which you need to do in order to write a book. And then in terms of how I think the virus will affect my activities in the future, I think we're going to merge into a new era. Things will never go back to exactly the same way they were, but we're going to see a sort of a hybrid world where there'll be eventually more and more of traditional sort of face-to-face communications and going places and traveling and interacting with each other. But there'll also be more and more things that are done virtually. And just in terms of interpreting, I rather enjoy the fact that I don't have to go to the airport. I don't have to fly a long ways to do work and also to give talks. There are many advantages being able to work online because you can address so many more people. I think that international exchanges have suffered greatly on one level because of the pandemic, but there have been new possibilities and new opportunities for international exchange that have also emerged. Obviously, it's very difficult for anyone from the United States now to travel to other countries. Hopefully, that'll change in the future, because in a way, meeting face to face and being in another environment, totally different environment, and another culture, and interacting with people isn't ideal. But one of the advantages is that in the pandemic, there's been a lot of push to develop new remote technologies, such as virtual conferencing and virtual communications. And that, I think, is changing things fundamentally for many people. And the advantages there are, for example, that if you're going to give a talk or you're going to meet with someone, you can do it easily without traveling. And also for international exchanges, say a talk can reach vastly larger scale than it would have before. And that's true with like motion pictures. It used to be you'd go to a local theater and you'd see a movie or a film. Now you can see movies and films streamed, and it's just made things much vaster in scale. Not only films and movies, but also presentations. So cultural presentations can be done now in, say, Tokyo or even San Francisco, and they can be broadcast to the whole world. Whereas before you might have to go to, say, a theater, or you might have to go to a specific location just to enjoy that sort of thing. So I think we're entering into a new world where eventually we'll be able to go back to the traditional person-to-person meetings, but we'll also have a hybrid world where we have vastly larger scale for presentations and intercultural communications. I find myself actually communicating more in many ways with my friends overseas, in Japan and Europe and other places. It's just easier to do. and that's wonderful. So those are my words. Thank you.